It's Monday, March 22nd, and this is now on HNN.
It's a substantial increase.
Cheap flights and discounted accommodations are attracting large numbers of spring breakers to Hawaii and other popular vacation destinations across the country. And in Florida, they're now clashing with police. Meanwhile, a large rally over COVID rules at Kapiolani Park draws a strong HPD response.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Police come under attack as protests turn violent in the UK. I'm Tina Kraus with how COVID lockdown rules are adding to the tension.
These stories, plus after persistent rain, potholes are plaguing Hawaii's roads. What's being done to fix them? Coming up on This Is Now.
Want to take you live now to Boulder, Colorado. There is a breaking news situation happening right there. I'm going to give you another angle here. Let's pull this up. Boulder police are reporting that there is an active shooter situation at King Soopers Supermarket in Boulder, Colorado. Again, this is a live video feed coming in. You can see a SWAT team moving in there as well. This all went down. We got first reports maybe about 45 minutes to an hour ago coming into our newsroom via our AP wire service. We'll continue to monitor this. We know very little information right now, but police are telling people to avoid the area. That makes sense there. Again, we'll stay on top of that for you all day long here at HNN. You guys, good afternoon. Thanks for watching. This is Now. Jonathan and Ashley here. Let's get right to those latest coronavirus numbers.
The state health department is reporting 79 new cases today and no new fatalities. The breakdown by island shows 9 cases on the Big Island, 1 on Kauai, 19 on Maui, 2 on Molokai, and 48 on Oahu. Meanwhile, air travelers top 1.5 million for the first time in more than a year. What's this mean for Hawaii's tourism industry? We spoke to Howard Dykes about that and the return of visitors from Japan.
Japanese arrivals are basically not increasing yet. We were hoping that it would start, and it will presumably start at some point. But the most recent figures we have show that Japanese arrivals this March are still down 99% from pre-COVID. On Friday, for example, we got only 181 arrivals from Japan. In 2019, on the nearest Friday to that, we got more than 5,000 arrivals. So even though we depend heavily on Japanese tourism, we are not yet getting any Japanese tourism in any significant amounts.
Let's talk about U.S. mainland arrivals. What happened there over the weekend?
We are seeing an increase in mainland arrivals. In fact, that's the only place we're getting it, but it's a substantial increase. We're now up to more than a third of what would be normal. And in some respects, particularly on Oahu, we're getting almost half of normal. That's not enough to get everybody back to work, but it helps. And of course, the expectation is as we get closer to high season and as more people on the mainland get their shots, we hope it'll increase further. But there's already some improvement, especially from the West Coast.
And one last question. I just wanted to pick your brain with your expertise on the travel business. Are you seeing any other big dynamic changes happening or in the works for the state?
The main thing I'm noticing is that countries that depend heavily on tourism are wooing tourists again and relaxing the rules at different rates of speed. It's happening more slowly in the Caribbean, for example. It's happening faster in parts of Mexico. And places that are not allowing it could wind up helping us if we open up at the current timetable, because they might come here for lack of being able to go to other places. We're also seeing some other countries that are picking specific targets that they want to take advantage of at this very unpredictable time. For example, Argentina, which relies on tourism for a sixth of its entire economy, is going really heavily after Chinese and making a big deal about you're welcome in China, knowing that China state media have been airing a lot of reports about anti-Asian discussions in the United States. So they're hoping to basically get some Chinese tourism that might otherwise have gone to the USA.
Howard Dykes, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much.
2 people were arrested and 2 others were cited in Waikiki for violating emergency rules on Saturday following a large rally at Kapiolani Park. The rally, organized by the Aloha Freedom Coalition, drew hundreds of people to the park to protest the use of masks and other COVID restrictions. HPD eventually showed up in force in response to the gathering. At one point, there was a heated exchange between participants and officers where one woman was forced to the ground.
And this is why we are here today. Do not criminalize aloha. Do not criminalize aloha. Do not allow the people of Hawaii to be segregated. Please show restraint. Please show restraint.
What sparked that incident with police is unclear. Participants say they were stunned to see it unfold.
And everybody was in shock that this was going on in Kapiolani Park in Honolulu. It just doesn't make any sense. And everybody's going, what are you guys arresting her for? What's the crime here? What did she do? She did nothing. I could oversee the whole thing from where I was. I think it was a bad day for Hawaii. It really breaks my heart that now is a part of the public square of our beautiful state. And it's a really bad day for HPD.
This is your final warning. In accordance with Mayor's Rules 127 Alpha 25.
HPD gave verbal warnings to the crowd to disperse over loudspeakers. We reached out to HPD for further information, but have not gotten a response. Miami Beach officials voted to extend an 8 p.m. curfew and emergency orders for up to 3 more weeks to help control unruly and mostly maskless crowds that have flocked to the party destination for spring break. Dan Sheneman reports.
Famed Miami Beach Ocean Drive back open temporarily after an emergency shutdown over the weekend to quell several weeks of unruly, sometimes violent crowds in South Beach.
This is not, sort of fun spring break. It's something a little bit more perilous.
As tens of thousands, most without masks, descended upon the island hotspot. The 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Thursday through Sunday curfew in effect for the next 3 weeks.
We have 3 threats. We have just the volume of people. We have a group within that large amount who are ruining it for everybody else because they're not just mischievous, they're acting out criminally. And then, of course, we've got a pandemic layered over it.
A pandemic that rages on as 8 states from Hawaii to Maine now report an increase in COVID cases, while dangerous variants continue to spread across the country. In California, accounting for an estimated 52% of new infections.
The continued relaxation of prevention measures while cases are still high and while concerning variants are spreading rapidly throughout the United States is a serious threat to the progress we have made as a nation.
That warning, despite record vaccinations, more than 3 million a day this weekend. The head of the CDC says the U.S. has reached a fork in the road.
I am worried that if we don't take the right actions now, we will have another avoidable surge.
In a race between vaccinations, viral strains, and springtime vacations. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
Let's take it to Brazil, where the famous Copacabana beach was closed this weekend. This comes as Brazil struggles with another surge in cases and hospitalizations. Brazil is the second hardest hit country in the world with 12 million cases and nearly 300,000 deaths. Brazil's president, however, continues to downplay the virus. He recently described government officials who imposed lockdowns as tyrants. Violent protests overnight in England left at least a dozen police officers injured. Tina Kraus is in London with the still developing story.
Riot police fought back demonstrators in the English city of Bristol. This protest against new police powers in the UK quickly spiraled into an attack on the officers themselves. Police vans went up in flames as rioters vented their fury against new legislation, giving officers more authority to tackle nonviolent demonstrations. Police say extremists hijacked the protest.
I would say that the people who were down here, protesting, were disgraceful criminals.
Under England's current COVID regulations, protests are not even allowed, but people continue to take part despite the risk of being arrested.
These are enemies of the people.
Police detained several dozen people at an anti-lockdown protest in central London over the weekend.
They need to agree to let people show solidarity. It's our choice. It's our choice at the end of the day, and that's what they're doing. They're taking our freedoms away.
As fears of a possible third COVID wave grip the UK, thousands marched through the British capital, most without masks. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
It's been frustrating for many to have to wait to get vaccinated, but it turns out Hawaii's slow and methodical method is actually working faster than the high-speed rollout in some states on the mainland. The Associated Press analyzed states' vaccination rates. It found that Hawaii is the 8th highest in the nation, even though earlier this month we had the smallest percentage of the adult population eligible for vaccination. Meanwhile, other states opened up vaccination to larger populations early on. That created high demand, backlogs, canceled appointments, and overall lower vaccination rates. New today, AstraZeneca says its vaccine is 79% effective in preventing symptomatic cases of COVID-19. The company says their candidate is 100% effective in stopping severe disease and hospitalization. These numbers are based on a clinical trial held in the U.S. with more than 30,000 volunteers. There were concerns in Europe that the AstraZeneca vaccine was linked to a higher risk of blood clots. But AstraZeneca says its experts found no safety concerns. The company is preparing to apply for emergency use authorization from the FDA. The U.S. currently has 3 approved vaccines from Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. HNN is producing a series of panel discussions to explore a year with coronavirus. Here's a preview.
Governor David Ige is here. Governor, several people in your administration have resigned in the health and education department, our leaders leaving this summer, and in the prison system. Did you want them to go because of their performance, or was it largely because of public pressure?
I think it was a combination of things. Certainly there was some health factors involved. I'm proud of the team. We have had to stand up programs that never existed before. We've been able to deliver safety net services to many in our community that needed help. And I think most importantly, we put the health and safety of our community first. We have the lowest infection rates per capita and the lowest death rates per capita in the country. I think the results speak for themselves.
Governor, it's been fairly common for department heads to be out of sync in their communication with what's coming from your office. Different state leaders saying different things. Is there more to be done there? How can you get a consistent message?
Yeah, I agree that sometimes the communication hasn't been all consistent and aligned. I think the focus has been about getting information out to the community. And I just would want to say that things are changing on a daily basis, even an hourly basis. Making the best decision on behalf of the people sometimes means that I had to make a decision before we had the time to brief everybody about what would be happening. I do empower my directors to really make the best decisions on behalf of the people. I trust their judgment, and I do think overall the response in the state of Hawaii has been very good.
Starting tonight on HNN, we'll bring you that special programming, The Pandemic, A Year with Coronavirus. We'll hear from those government officials, health experts, and community leaders that you just saw. Again, these special panels will start airing on KGMB and K5 tonight at 6:30 and continue all week. The DOT says crews are addressing potholes created by more than a week of heavy rains. On Oahu, crews are filling potholes on routes including the H1 Kamehameha Highway, Ala Moana Boulevard, and the Like. Work is expected to wrap up on April 16th. For county-by-county numbers to call to report potholes or damage, just head to our HNN digital platforms and click on this story. Historic flooding hit the North Shore nearly 2 weeks ago. That's where we find Sammy Salino with an update on recovery efforts.
We're at Haleiwa. We're here at Surf and Salsa, and it is night and day compared to what this looked like 2 weeks ago when the flood waters came in. They really did a great job of getting everything ready. They opened last Monday, so they've been open a week. It's a huge difference. Just imagine a foot of mud, a foot of debris right here in the shop, and volunteers cleared that out, helped them out. They had to get all new umbrellas. The kitchen might have been the worst part of it. If you look inside and envision what 5 feet of water would do to a place like this. They had to buy all new appliances. It cost the owner, John Acuna, $50,000 to replace everything. This includes benches, the umbrellas, like I said. We're actually joined by John right now. Thank you so much for joining us. Could you tell us how this all came together? Because the place looks great.
Thank you for asking. Well, we have a lot of help from our community and our clientele, our customers. They came together, they help everybody. We have at least, I would say, about 200, 300 people that show up like different days in different amounts, but like they do a lot of help. I don't think we can do it without the community and our client and our customers. That was like a big part that we were open the week after this happened, because it was really insane what happened.
I mean, it's great to hear you guys are doing well. The place looks awesome, but you still do need a lot of help. You're hoping for more assistance, right?
Well, it'd be nice if we can get assistance from the actual government, but I fill out a form online that they say for the flood and stuff, but didn't get back to me, and I filled it out almost like a week and a half ago, right after this happened. Still not getting answers from nobody, so everything is just money that people let me borrow it or give me. Like a lot of people, we do a GoFundMe, a lot of people help out, so that was a big help. Because if we out of that, we cannot just reopen. It was a lot of money going through this.
John, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And you know, every day there is improvement here in Haleiwa, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Sammy Solina, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Sam. We want to get back to the breaking news of the hour. I pulled up the Denver Post to get more information about what's happening in Boulder, where the police department is warning people to stay away from this supermarket. We're told it's King Supers on Table Mesa Drive. You're looking at a live video feed coming into the H&N Digital Center right now. What else? I can tell you that this is in the southern portion of the city. It anchors this shopping center that grocery store does. Now here's a bit of new details I got for you from the Denver Post. A YouTube user, they report, was live streaming from this scene starting at about 2:30 Colorado time. His video showed what appeared to be shooting victims and police approaching the front of the badly damaged store in an armored vehicle. Also, there are some unconfirmed reports out there of some fatalities. We're going to stay on top of this throughout this newscast and throughout the day here on H&N. Just stick with your H&N digital platforms. Let's turn it over to weather.
Aloha on this Monday. We're expecting a very nice day today, although there's a big clump of moisture near the Big Island, and that means more windward and Mauka showers for them, a few showers for East Maui as well, while the rest of the state, you can see, is looking fairly dry. So it's going to be a beautiful day today, save for the cloudier and damper conditions on the east end of the state. And trade winds will be running nice and brisk today, but today is the last day for the trade winds for several days because an approaching front will push out the trade winds, and we'll get Kona winds, we'll get some afternoon clouds, some afternoon showers, and increasing showers due by Wednesday from that front. So enjoy today. It's going to be beautiful, and the high surf advisories are still posted for most east-facing shores, and there's also another pulse due in to north and west shores by tomorrow. And there's some fun-sized waves, maybe shoulder high at the better spots on the south shore as well. So again, we're watching that cold front expected into the state sometime Tuesday night. That's when we're going to see increasing showers, windward and Mauka showers, as well as leeward showers as well. So many areas will see those showers. And then by Friday, the cold front will ease up, although the wet weather will likely linger into the weekend. Keep it here on Hawaii News Now. We'll have all your severe weather updates.
If you put on some pounds during the pandemic, you are not alone. A new study found that some people gained an average of nearly 2 pounds per month when the shelter-in-place orders were in effect. The research published by JAMA looked at nearly 7,500 weight measurements from 269 participants between February 1st and June 1st of last year. On average, they gained 0.6 pounds for every 10 days, or about 1.8 pounds per month. The study's authors say the measurements came from Bluetooth-connected smart scales, which limited the overall sample size.
It's video that will have you shaking your head. A dad takes his toddler into the elephant enclosure at a Southern California zoo, and as Heather Hope shows us, the elephant wasn't happy to greet the unwanted visitors.
Well, the San Diego Zoo says that father and toddler got past multiple barriers to get inside the elephant habitat, making for a frightening up-close animal encounter. What appeared as a father and daughter posing for a picture from the inside of an elephant enclosure at the San Diego Zoo quickly turned dangerous. From this cell phone video, the elephant is seen charging toward the father and his 2-year-old daughter. The video taken around 4 p.m. Friday shows the dad drop his little girl on the ground after he climbs out over the fence and then rushes back to pick her up as the elephant aggressively moves its nearly 8-foot-long trunk toward them.
It's an extremely dangerous situation, and no one in their right mind really should ever do this.
Catherine Doyle, Director of Science, Research, and Advocacy with PAWS, the Performing Animal Welfare Society, says the elephant was protecting its space.
Well, the elephant you saw, I believe, is Shaba, and she was responding really as an elephant would to an intruder. So it looked to me like it was a mock charge, which is really intended to scare off an intruder. However, if Shaba thought her message wasn't getting through, it could have turned into a more serious attack.
Serious enough for San Diego police to arrest the father, 25-year-old Jose Navarrete, and book him into county jail on charges of child neglect, child abuse, and trespassing.
It was incredibly dangerous for the father and child, and I think they were just both very, very lucky.
The San Diego Zoo released this statement saying on March 19th, 2 guests, despite multiple barriers, purposely and illegally trespassed into a habitat which is home to our Asian and African elephants. San Diego Zoo security promptly responded to the incident, but the guests had already exited the habitat. Both the elephants and the guests are unharmed. Zoo guests witnessing the danger unfold could be heard screaming as the father in danger escaped the elephant's path. Navarrete is being held on $100,000 bail for the child cruelty charges, according to his jail records.
If someone thinks that they're going to take a chance or, for a thrill, try to do something like this, do a selfie with a wild animal, you can end up losing your life.
Unclear if any newer improved safety protocols will come from this incident. The zoo did not close down the entire time.
All right, time for some good news. This is actually big news in the board game world. So for the first time in its more than 85-year history, Monopoly is changing all 16 of its community chess cards. And the best part is that you can help decide how the card changes are made. So Monopoly is requesting input from fans all over the world, even you, Jonathan.
Me.
They're holding a vote at monopolycommunitychess.com. So some of the options for new cards are shop local, rescue a puppy, and help your neighbors. And after all the votes are in, the new community chess cards will debut in the updated Monopoly game this fall.
When I read the headline of that, I thought they were renaming the addresses or the properties. I was thinking, we need a Waikiki on there. But
yeah.
What else did you find, Ash?
So a product testing company is offering to pay you $2,400 to stay away from your screens for 24 hours. Now, Reviews.org is holding a 24-hour digital detox challenge. Reviews says it will pay challengers who can survive a whole day without screens. And we're not just talking about your phones and your mobile devices. They have to stay away from televisions, computers, and smart devices. People can apply for the detox through March 26th on Reviews' website. And the contestants that are chosen will be given a safe to lock up all their devices and a $200 Amazon gift card for a, quote, tech-free survival kit. Now, the company will announce the winners on its YouTube page on March 29th.
As you saw, we have so much news we're following here at H&N, including the latest on that still developing active shooter situation that is unfolding in Boulder right now. I can tell you just a few more details that we just got in. That is that the governor of Colorado is closely monitoring the situation and sitting his prayers. He was just on CNN reporting that. And we'll continue to give you updates throughout the day here at H&N.